Decorating in New Horizons can be complicated. With all the stunning builds that are made and shared online every day, it's hardly surprising that as an island designer, you get a little bit overwhelmed and have no idea where to start. Although the process of making those lavish creations may seem incredibly difficult, decorating is actually far more simple than you may think. You don't need to be looking at all of those big builds to make a stunning island, and if you want some ideas which can help you take your island to the next level, here are 10 easy build ideas which can fit into any theme and add a bit more life onto your island. Out of all the small builds you may find on an island, I think a reading nook or a library is one of the most versatile things you can create. With a simple bookshelf, a pile of books and a chair or some comfy cozy cushions, you can make the ultimate chill out corner for your island. The wooden bookshelf may be a little bit more difficult to craft than some of the other items you may want to include in a build like this, but with the 4 different wood colours it comes in, you can easily fit a reading corner into any island theme you can imagine. If you want a more subtle library, you can always use a tiny library instead and use a pile of books next to it to show that you have a ton of readers on your island. The next build I want to show you is a simple picnic spot. Honestly, this is something I put down on every island because it fits perfectly into all sorts of different themes. For a really simple picnic, you just need a blanket custom code that matches back to your theme, a few food items, and either some customized cushions or the round pillows on the ground, and you get the perfect picnic spot. If you want some extra details down, you can add gyroids, teddy bears or dolls as company for your tea party. Or if this is a picnic for one, place down a parasol or an umbrella down along with some headphones for an afternoon lounge in the sun. I love a good picnic spot on an island because they give you a really lovely place to take some pictures after having a wander around your island. And if you haven't tried to make one for your own island, it's a great place to start. If you're looking for a build which can fit more easily into a city core island, then this next idea could work for you, and that is to create a car parking area. There were loads of vehicles added into the 2.0 update, so city core islands can now be much more vibrant than they were before, and a car parking area is something which is really simple to add. The main custom code you'll need here is a road code, which has a plain asphalt and a line code in it to make the parking spaces for each type of vehicle you want. Once you have your vehicles down, your parking is basically done. Another build which is really easy to do that you can easily fit into your island and fill some extra space is a set of shops. This can be easily done with stools and simple panels and other items on top of the stall or beside it to let people know what type of shop it is. Or if you want to take it a little bit further, you can place a group of stalls together to create a market. With only a couple of key items here, you can make any type of shop you want to fit into your theme. If you have a kid core island, you can create a candy store, or if you have a cottage core island, you may want to make a small outdoor cafe with a few tables and chairs around. For decorating your beaches, you can use the stalls to help make a fish market or a surf shack as well, so just give a little bit of life there. I love seeing little shops on islands, and you can have a lot of fun in creating whatever works for your theme with them. The next small build you can make, which is really easy to do, is a park or a town square. I love little parks on islands as they're so cute to look at, and you can make all different sorts depending on what your theme is. Trust me, parks are not just for kid core. If you want a park which is for a more traditional theme like city core, use a rounded path and a fountain with a couple of benches to create a small meeting point. You can also make this more elegant with a park fountain and some fancy custom codes, or really simple by just using the in-game path. The more details you add into your park, the better. This doesn't mean you have to fill every single corner to make it look good. By just adding a couple of extra touches like a magazine or a radio nearby, you give your park a little bit more dimension, making it the perfect way to transition between two larger builds. With how simple a park can be to put together, it's one of my go-to builds for islands to fill some extra space and can make the difference between a good island and a great island. Another build you can easily make is a small neighborhood build. Before you look at me like I've gone mad, I don't mean fully decorating every villager house here. Instead, we're looking to make something more simple than that. Whilst you can make gardens for each house, you don't have to. Here you can see the first version of my Forever Island, and all I did here was use some fencing in between each house because I wanted them to look like the rows of terraced houses you see on a lot of streets in the UK. If you're stuck on ideas on how to make your villager houses sit well into your island, you may want to try something like this just to keep a small group of your villagers together to tell a different type of story on your island. And by using some custom codes or door plates, you can then make their homes really fit into the vibes you're going for on your dream address. Speaking of villager gardens, if you want to have a slightly larger space for your villager homes, making them a yard which fits into the theme can be a really easy way to tell more of a story on your island. A lot of island designers pick villagers to fit their theme and then work their home into their island. I like to personally assign roles for my villagers, so when they move onto my island, I can decorate their garden to show their story. As a quick example of this, here you can see me walking around Eric's house on my Forever Island, which I turned into a woodcutter's cabin by adding an axe next to a tree stump, and I placed some firewood nearby to tell his part of the story. You can make your villager gardens more of a standout feature on your island just by using a couple of items to tell the story behind why they're on your island. And if it helps you decorate their homes that little bit more, it's worth thinking about how you want to decorate your villager gardens. The next build you may want to include in a transition area, or as a simple build idea, is to make a small dining area or a cozy sitting spot. Personally, I love the bistro table and the director's chair, as the two of these together are the perfect items to create a little dining spot. I like to add the chair slightly off to the side of the table so any visitors can just take a little sit and get some cute photos or enjoy a cup of coffee whilst they're looking around your island. If you don't have access to these items, the Iron Garden table and chairs can also be used to achieve a similar look, but these are a smaller footprint than the bistro tables, so you may find they're easier to work with as well. I love a cute little sitting spot on an island, and they're the perfect way to see the island from another perspective. So if you want to create some cute little spaces which you and your visitors can enjoy, I would recommend creating a little dining space. Another simple build you can make on your island, which adds a little bit more realism, is to create a fishing spot or a duck pond. I don't see many island designers making ponds on their island, which I think is a shame because I personally like including them. As a day-to-day player, having a pond is really important so that you can get access to the fish which are locked to the pond type. But you can also use ponds to break up the landscape in your island design without having to resort to crazy amounts of terraforming. If you're new to terraforming, starting with some ponds is a great way to slowly work on your waterscaping skills, and you can create some really stunning ponds with just a bit of practice in a small place. The last simple build I have, which you may want to try making on your own island, is a farm or a flower garden. These are a timeless classic, and if you haven't got at least one of these filling an empty space or a transition area, it's well worth adding onto your island. To make one, I would recommend using one of the dirt paths under your crops or flowers to make it look a little bit more realistic, but this is entirely optional if you just want to use the grass instead. You can make all sorts of different gardens or farms on your island. There's community gardens which can give you an easy way to still have crops on your island if you're a day-to-day player, or you could create lavender fields with just the purple hyacinth. Gardens or farms are a staple on cottagecore islands, and with a clever introduction of weeds, moss and custom codes, you can really add some stunning touches into a small garden that you keep on your island. No matter what you look to make on your island, it doesn't have to be particularly complicated, and you can create a really simple build which can fit into your island perfectly, which you can make as large or as small as you like. I've shared some ideas with you here, but what is your favourite build? Are there any builds which you've made which can be really simple for new decorators? Let's share our ideas down below, and I'll see you in the next one.